Welcome to Miss Blanchard and Miss Spencer's revision session for geography on quizzing. So this is the revision guide which you all should have at home. If you don't, you need to speak to your geography teacher. And what the revision theme that we're doing at the moment, or you are doing at the moment, is being advertised around the academy, is about changing cities, which is something we did at the start of year 10. So we need to revisit it so that you can get this into your long-term memory and you'll be able to answer the questions on this in your mock, both mocks, and then in your real exams. So Mexico City is one of the case studies, place-specific detail that we did. And one of the elements of that is that in Mexico City there is inequality. And inequality is that there are extreme differences between the rich and the poor. So how you might approach revision first is identifying keywords that you might need to know to do with the topic. So here we've got rapid population growth results in inequalities between the rich and the poor. And issues with that is that although there is a minimum wage, there's only 2 out of 3 being paid that because 1 in 3 workers are paid less. In addition to that, we've got the top 20% earning as much as 13 times higher than the bottom 20, so you've got 13 times more. We've got that there's an issue with education. So we've got that the poorest 10% only have 2 years of school attendance, where the richest have an average of 12 years. And then we've also got that shantytown residents, so they're the slums, they often have no running water, electricity or food, whereas in the wealthier areas, they live in large houses, gardens, they might have swimming pools. They're also a lot more secure and safe and often gated. Then there are impacts of lots of people going to Mexico City, and these are to do with there being housing shortages, there being squatter settlements springing up everywhere, there being underemployment, which means there's not enough jobs for people, so not everybody works a full-time job because there aren't enough, and then there is pollution. And it does specify there air pollution, which leads to, if you look, respiratory diseases, which is a problem in Mexico City. 21 million people, lots of cars, lots of issues with air pollution and particulates. And then we've got that there's rubbish, 13,000 rubbish tonnes being created each day, and a lot of it going on the streets. So that is the information. What can we do with it? So Miss Spencer is going to show us a little quizzing method.
So when we look at our information that Miss Blanchard's gone through and highlighted, what we can do is we can pick up the key points and we try and make questions from them. So for example, you might say, number 1, what does inequality mean? You might then also ask, for example, what leads to inequality? You might say, what services do shantytowns not have? Try and keep the questions as short as possible and to be specific, because obviously asking for large amounts of information is not really going to help you. Now you can do it this way, which is just a list of questions, as you can see, okay, or you can come up with some of the other questions, because as you can see the answers for these are not on there, so you would have to do them on a separate page. Or you could take some post-it notes and you could create the question on the post-it note, and underneath it you could put the answer. So here, why has Mexico City grown? Okay, you could put more jobs, more education, etc. And that way you can look at the question, but also you've got the answer instantly there, and that way you can revise that way. Or in addition to this, you can make flashcards. So for example, this one is, what is a squatter settlement? And then on the back of the flashcard you actually put the answers, and you can actually test yourself with this. If you know the answer to this one, put it to one side, come back to it later date. If you don't know the answer, try and repeat it over and over again. Now a really good thing with quizzing is obviously getting your family involved, bullying whoever is at home to give you some quick tests. Or you could do like Miss Blanchard and I would do, is, Miss Blanchard, what does inequality mean?
Inequality means an extreme difference between 2 variables, in our case the rich and the poor in Mexico City.
Brilliant. Good understanding, Ms Blanchard. Thank you very
And
much.
what leads to inequality, Ms Spencer?
A lower level of education, poorer salaries, and unfortunately living in poorer conditions.
Excellent, Ms Spencer.
Brilliant. So good luck with your revision. Hope you find the technique useful, and if you've got any questions, feel free to come and ask us.